Hello and namaste. I am Dr. Paresh Mishra. I'm a professor of organizational leadership at Purdue University, Fort Wayne. If you have followed this channel for some time, you may know that here I have mostly posted videos that are lectures for my students. And that process started during the COVID-19 pandemic when our classes moved from in person to the online medium. Now, as we got over the COVID 19 pandemic, I gradually stopped posting videos here. So, this channel has been inactive for quite a while. I was continuing to post videos on my other channel where I sing songs and post videos. But even that channel has been inactive for a large part of this year. And that's because my brother passed away. And not just my brother, there were a few other deaths in the family too, in the extended family. So during this time, I have taken time away from posting videos and gone into more of a reflective mode. And that's something about grief where it forces you to take a pause in your life. It makes you reflective about things. You start wondering or thinking about what really matters in your life. So that actually brings us to the topic of this video, because some 6-7 days ago, a very famous singer from the Odia film industry, Humane Sagar, he passed away. Now, to be fair, I did not know about Humane Sagar. I had never even heard of his name until few days before his death when he was hospitalized. And my mother was following the news very closely. So with the TV on and I following along with my mom, I got to know about Humane Sagar. Now that's not because I don't listen to Odia songs, nor does it mean that I don't care about Odia music. In fact, I have been a strong lover of Odia music. But my love for music has mostly stayed maybe until the early 2000s at the most. So if we are talking about male singers, my favorites have been people like Akhya Mahanti, Bhikari Bala, Balakrishna Das, Raghunath Panigrahi, who else? Pranab Patnaik. So, or for that matter, Chitta Jena, Prafulla Kara, Subhash Das. Anyway, I'm not planning to just throw names here, but these were the singers that I grew up listening to, and Sikandar Alam, another great singer. Anyway, these are the kind of singers that I grew up listening to, and their songs have been an integral part of my musical repertoire. But Humane Sagar, I believe, came into the music scene after 2012. And during this period, I had been living in the United States. So from what I understand, he was one of the contestants in the season 2 of Voice of Odisha. So that was supposedly in 2012, and he was the winner of that season. And that's how he came into the music, Odia film music industry. Um, so even though I had not heard of him or his songs before, once I listened to his music, I must acknowledge that he was an exceptional singer. He had great voice, great range, very versatile singer, brought in a lot of emotions and pathos as well as energy to the songs that he sung. And I was surprised or rather shocked when I learned that he had sung more than 10,000 songs, by some estimates, even 12 to 13,000 songs in this short period that he was active in the music industry. That is still unbelievable to me, although I did hear him referring to him meaning Humane Sagar himself referring to having sung more than 10,000 songs in one of the interviews. So I'm sure the numbers are accurate, but 10 to 12,000 songs over a period of 12 years, that amounts to 1,000 songs per year, which means he was recording some 3 songs per day. That's a lot of songs. And in addition to that, he was doing stage performances. So you can imagine how busy and active he must have been. So that then leads to certain life lessons that I think we can learn from his life and from his death. And that is the focus of this video. Now, I am aware that there are a lot of controversies surrounding his death. In the videos that I have come across, I don't specifically sit and watch those videos, but I overhear many of those comments when I listen, when I see my mom watching the TV. So some of the controversies that I have heard is essentially amounting to people saying that he was killed, not literally, of course, but through exploitation, neglect, and lot of emotional pressure that was placed on him. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of validity to those criticisms, to those complaints that are being brought up, and I'm sure, or rather, I'm saying that those things should be investigated. But when we are only blaming others for a tragedy, I think we are removing human agency from a person, right? So Humane Sagar, he was not a kid, he was an adult. And we have to give him agency. He made certain choices. He may have taken some of those choices under pressure, but it was nevertheless choices that he made. And we all know that's how life is, right? Our life is shaped by the choices that we make, as well as external forces, but we cannot remove the role that our life's decisions, our internal decisions, play in the way our life manifests. So that's the reason I thought I should make this video. Although probably it would have been great if I had made this video in Odia, but I don't think I will be as clear in Odia, so I'm making this video in English. In any case, so what could be the lessons that we can take from this great singer's life? The first lesson from whatever I have found about Humane Sagar would be to genuinely care for others, to show up for people. That would be the first lesson. Because from what I understand, Humane Sagar was a very caring person. He had a big heart. He helped colleagues, he helped his friends, he sang for countless composers, sometimes for little to no money. So he was a very generous person. And people knew about that aspect of him. And I think that is the reason why there is so much of outpouring of emotion that is happening for him. So I think this is a great quality that he had, and that is something that should be appreciated. And that is also a quality that I think we should try to inculcate within ourselves to genuinely care for others. Now, the second lesson that I would like to bring forth in some way may seem contradictory to the first lesson, but it is not fully contradictory if you think about it. So the second lesson that I would like to draw from Humane Sagar's life and death would be to not care too much. So do not care so much that others exploit you. So caring is good. Caring is something that we should be doing, but caring without boundaries, that creates vulnerabilities, that leads to you getting exploited. So Humane Sagar, he was a kind man, but it seems like many people, including members from his family, his estranged wife, maybe possibly his girlfriend, and definitely many of his colleagues took advantage of that kindness that he had. And that's a problem. So while he earned a lot of money for others, it seems he died not with much money for himself. So while others got rich, he was living in a rented apartment. So that's a little problematic. So while kindness is good, this relates to one of the big 5 personality traits that I talk about in some of my lectures, the trait of agreeableness, where you have difficulty saying no. So saying yes to everyone is problematic. So goodness of heart is good, but then there should be limits. You should be protecting yourself too. You should be setting boundaries. Otherwise, you get exploited. And there are all kinds of people in this world. So you cannot allow others to exploit the goodness of your heart. The third point, I would say, is in some ways related to the second point too, is to choose the people in your life wisely. Choose your friends very wisely. Because not everyone in your circle cares for your well-being. Many people who seem to be your great friends aren't really your great friends. They do not really care for you. They are there to extract what they can from you. So you have to choose your friends very wisely. And I'm saying this also from my own life experiences. I'm sure this is something that many of you will be able to relate to as well. We often have some great people in our lives, but we may not have some great people in our lives. And unfortunately, if some of the important people in our life turn out to be problematic, turn out to be selfish, turn out to be people with the dark triad kind of personality traits, namely narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, exploitative personalities. They will put up a face that may seem like they are caring when they aren't. And again, because I don't know the veracity of many of the allegations that have been made against the people, I won't call names, but it seems like, Humane Sagar was exploited by many of these wrong people he was surrounded with, be it members from his immediate family or estranged family or his colleagues. So it is extremely important to choose your friends wisely. And it is more important if you have talent, if you are succeeding, because one of the flip side of success is that it attracts a lot of vultures. It attracts a lot of Machiavellian, narcissistic individuals who want to take part of your earnings, who want to take part of whatever positive things you have succeeded in acquiring in your life. So, and by saying that, you have to choose your friends wisely, it also means that, you avoid such people that I'm talking about, and also keep the people who are genuinely interested in your growth, who nurture you, who challenge you in positive ways, who are not just yes men who try to make you feel good, but people who genuinely challenge you, bring out the best out of you, which was, I'm sure, partly in his case too, because many of the music directors that he worked with similarly challenged the capabilities that he had as a singer. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the point that I wanted to say. And this then leads to the next point, which I think should be the fourth point, about success. The amount of success Humane Sagar achieved in this short span of 10 to 12 years that he was active in the music industry is absolutely insane. I just cannot believe that in the relatively small state of Odisha, he managed to sing 10 to 12,000 songs. And I can relate to this in a way because 2012 is also when I started my career as a professor. And I was trying to take parallels between what Humane Sagar achieved and what I achieved during this 12, 13 years. And when I think about it, I didn't achieve much. So, Humane Sagar achieved something phenomenal. So, if we want to achieve success in our life, I think it comes from focus. He was absolutely focused on his music. He was disciplined in terms of training, rehearsing not just his songs but also his dance moves so that he can perform. So he was committed to his art, to his craft, and not doing anything else but doing that over and over and over again. And I think that's where success happened. And other critical point would be to find your own voice, right? He would not have succeeded the way he did if he was just trying to ape the musicians from the yesteryears. He found his own voice, and if we want success at a larger scale, then it is important to find your own voice, to find what is unique within you, what is it that defines you. So, this, I think, is again a very important lesson that we can draw from Humane Sagar's life. But there's a flip side to success, right? And that takes me to the fifth lesson that I want to focus on. And that would be that how much soever success you achieve, that does not erase your pain, your insecurities. So, success can buy a lot of things, but it cannot buy you peace. It cannot buy you happiness. We often assume that successful people are happy, but that need not be the case. Success does not protect you from emotional struggles. So we know Humane Sagar struggled a lot in his personal life with his estranged wife and many of the allegations that were made on him, and the fact that he was forced to stay away from his daughter, whom he loved and cared for a lot. So we can understand he going through lot of those emotional turmoil. Again, when I draw parallels between his life and mine, I have had similar challenges, not exactly the same, but similar kind of challenges in my life. But thankfully, I have coped relatively well on this front. So, why or how did I manage to do that? Because I invested in on my emotional well-being. I learned Vipassana meditation, practiced Vipassana meditation on a daily basis, did certain other mantra meditation, engaged in running, another way through which I could manage my emotional challenges better. And thankfully, of course, I have had great group of caring people surrounding me as well, a very caring family. So success and happiness or peace, they are different things. Just because you are striving for success and you get it does not mean that you will be happy, that you will be in peace, because challenges will come in your life. Sometimes those challenges will be of extreme nature, extreme in the sense that they literally challenge the very core of your existence, the meaning of life. They hurt you at the deepest levels. When the people you love, the people you care for, they betray you, that of course is extremely painful. So they are different things. Success and happiness, they are different things. So we should be investing not just on achieving success, but also on our happiness, on our well-being. When we do not do that, what we tend to do is we end up engaging in behaviors and habits that actually hurt us more rather than help us. So we know that Humane Sagar used to drink a lot, and that was one of the reasons that is being given about the deterioration in his health. So that's what he was using to cope up with the emotional challenges that he was having, the emotional pain that he was suffering from. But instead of it actually helping him, it worsened his condition, and he ended up leaving this place much sooner than he should have, right? So this brings me to the sixth point, and that of taking care of your health. So the sixth lesson that I want to draw here is to make health your number one priority. Work has its place, your commitments to your other relationships, be they your family, your friends, your colleagues, they all have their place. But nothing should be at the cost of your health. Again, success, you can be extremely committed to success, and that is what he was committed to. He had that junoon, probably, of wanting to succeed. That focus helped him succeed, but that should not be at the cost of your health. Health, if you lose it, then all the success, all the fame that you gathered, you will not be able to enjoy it, and your quality of life suffers, and you may also end up leaving this place much sooner than before. So he compromised on his health, we know. And as a performing musician, there are certain challenges, right? Where you have to be recording late into the nights, or you are doing these stage shows that go late into the nights. So you are probably not getting good quality sleep at night, and then probably so your sleep cycle gets disrupted. And when you're traveling, your the quality of food that you eat probably also get compromised on. And that is something that I heard somebody mentioning, one of the doctors that who was also his friend getting interviewed. He was mentioning that he had started quitting his habit of drinking, but he didn't eat well, that he was so focused on the recording and performances that he did not eat well. Sometimes would eat some junk snacks, drink a cold drink, which you know in many ways is probably even more problematic than alcohol. Non-fatty alcoholic, non-alcoholic fatty liver, that's a major cause of liver problems these days. So even if you are not drinking alcohol, if you are eating a lot of sugar or carbohydrate-rich food, on top of that, if your sleep cycle is disrupted, on top of that, if you don't physically take care of your health, then your health is going to go for a sixer, and you will be suffering those consequences. So I think that's a critical lesson that we should not forget. Taking care of oneself is not selfishness. It is essential. In fact, we can take care of others if much better when we take good care of ourselves. So that brings us to the last point that I want to emphasize, the seventh point, and that would be to learn to say no. This is probably the most relevant lesson in context of Humane Sagar's life. Saying yes to everyone means saying no to yourself. So you have to learn to say no to others. You cannot just be saying yes to everyone, to shows, to recordings, to requests, to pressures, to expectations. And this probably has to do with certain insecurities that somebody may be having, that leads them in the direction of saying yes to everything. I don't know. I didn't know Humane Sagar in person for sure, but irrespective of the motivations behind why he said yes, we can definitely say with confidence that he said yes too often at the cost of compromising his health, his well being, and even his own money, right? So we have to learn to say no to others. Not every request that you receive is worth your time. Not and if he was a very ambitious person, that I don't know, not every opportunity deserves the investment of your energy. So it is important to be very mindful in the way we live, and learning to say no can be a life-saving skill. So these are some of the points that I wanted to highlight. Hopefully this reflection provided something of value to you as well. So with that, I will I think stop this video. So again, since Humane Sagar was a Christian, I would say that may his soul rest in peace, and may his music live forever. Thank you. Namaste.